India is one of the fastest growing major economies in the world, with GDP of more than 2.3 trillion US dollars. As per 2018 Global Economics Prospect released by World Bank on 9th January 2018, India's GDP is projected to grow at 7.3% in 2018 and 7.5% in the next 2 years. Quoting Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, Minister Petroleum and Natural Gas, in the next 10 years, India will offer projects worth $300 billion US dollars for investment in petroleum sector. Constant growth in Indian markets and government's investor-friendly policies have resulted in improvement of 15.19 points on Policy Perception Index from 41.18 in 2014 to 56.37 in 2017, indicating shrinking barriers in business. India took a giant leap to enter top 100 club on ease of doing business scale this year. As per the recent World Bank Ease of Doing Business Rankings 2018, India has jumped 30 places as compared to last year. India is on its way to becoming a global economic powerhouse. It is expected to be one of the top 3 economic powers of the world in the near future, supported by its strong democracy and partnerships. This enormous growth is followed by increasing energy consumption in the country. From the chance discovery of oil way back in 1866 and commercial production in 1890 in Digboi, Assam, India has come a long way in exploration and production of oil and natural gas. Before independence, oil was being produced only in Assam by Burma Oil Company. Independent India's oil quest started with its premier state-owned companies, Oil and Natural Gas Commission (ONGC), established in 1956, and Oil India Limited, which came into being in 1959. The increased focus on exploration resulted in the discovery of several new oil fields, most notably the offshore Gombe High field discovered by ONGC in 1974, which remains by a big margin India's most productive field till date. The process of economic liberalization in India began in 1991, paving the way for India's emergence as a free market economy. Between 1991 and 1997, there have been 4 discovered oil and gas field bidding rounds. During this period, the Directorate General of Hydrocarbons was established. In the year 1995, India introduced New Exploration Licensing Policy (NELP) based on production sharing contracts. 9 rounds under NELP have resulted in over $40 billion US dollars of investment in the country. Simultaneously, coal bed methane (CBM) policy was announced in 1997. 4 CBM rounds were conducted and resulted in award of 33 CBM blocks. India is among the fastest growing oil markets, with demand almost doubling to almost 10 million barrels per day. And gas demand is expected to more than triple by 2040. As a proactive measure to this anticipated surge in demand of hydrocarbon consumption, India has now set an ambitious target of reducing our import dependence by 10% by 2022. Coming up with a new regime was clearly the need of the hour. Union government's latest offering, Hydrocarbon Exploration and Licensing Policy (HELP), which replaced the decades-old New Exploration Licensing Policy (NELP) in 2016, aims at incentivizing the exploration and production of oil and gas. As a prelude to HELP, India auctioned 67 discovered oil and gas blocks through Discovered Small Field Bid Round 2016. A total of 30 contracts were awarded under these revenue-sharing contracts. This has created a climate conducive for investments in India. Four main facets of AGLP are: single license for exploration and production of all forms of hydrocarbon, an open acreage licensing program OALP, easy to administer revenue sharing model, marketing and pricing freedom for the crude oil and natural gas produced. Apart from the fundamental shift from a production sharing regime to a revenue sharing mechanism, the new policy facilitates open acreage licensing with single license. All these provide a lot more autonomy and flexibility to the operator. The single license will enable the contractor to explore conventional as well as unconventional oil and gas resources, including CBM, shale gas, shale oil, tight gas, and gas hydrates under one license. Recognizing the higher risks and costs involved in exploration and production from offshore areas, lower royalty rates for such areas have been provided as compared to NELP royalty rates to encourage exploration and production. On the lines of NELP, cess and import duty will not be applicable on blocks awarded under the new policy. This is in tune with government's policy of minimum government, maximum governance. OALP allows E&P companies to carve out blocks of their choice for pan-India open acreages through National Data Repository (NDR) and submit an expression of interest (EOI), which would then be offered through a transparent and time-bound international competitive bidding process. Investors can submit EOIs for Petroleum Operations Contract (POC), Reconnaissance Contract (RC). Owing to the affirmative structural reforms by the Government of India in the first round, the government has received an encouraging response, with 57 EOIs already been received for exploration interest, out of which 55 blocks covering around 60,000 square kilometers are offered for bidding in OALP Round 1. Blocks on offer: on land, Rajasthan Basin 9, Krishna Godavari Basin 3, Cambay Basin 11, Kaveri Basin 1, Assam Arakan Basin 19, Kutch Basin 1, Ganga Basin 1, Himalayan Foreland Basin 1. On land total 46. Shallow offshore: Kutch Basin 1, Saurashtra Basin 2, Kaveri Basin 2, Mumbai Offshore Basin 2, Krishna Godavari Basin 1. Shallow offshore total 8. Deep offshore: Krishna Godavari Basin 1, deep offshore total 1. India's gigantic sedimentary basins present an ocean of opportunity for investors ushered by an investor-friendly policy regime. The latest reassessment study estimates the prognosticated resources of hydrocarbons in the Indian sedimentary basins, both offshore and onshore, as around 42 billion metric tons of oil and oil equivalents, which comprises a total of already discovered resources around 12 billion metric tons of oil and oil equivalents, whereas an estimated 230 billion barrels of oil and oil equivalents lies in yet-to-find category. One of the largest economies in the world welcomes you to invest in the prospective future of oil and gas sector. Come, invest and be a part of India's enthralling growth story in 150-year-old hydrocarbon industry.